remember that day we were in the office, Aaron and myself, and two of our volunteers actually from the shop came in and said there's this young girl that might need some help. And so we went out there and we brought the girl into the office and we introduced ourselves and she told us her name. And I remember she was really tiny, like I'm 5'2" and she was smaller than me, really tiny thing, and she looked terrified. She was really scared. She looked like she'd been crying for ages. She had blotchy face and, you know, she just looked terrified. She was wearing a t-shirt and jeans and she was wearing thongs and it was freezing cold weather. And she had a plastic bag that had holes in it and barely anything was in the bag. And we said, what's going on? And she explained to us that she'd not been in Colac for that long. She was with her boyfriend who lives in Colac, and all of a sudden he decided to just kick her out. He kept her phone, he kept most of her possessions. All she had was the clothes she was wearing and her wallet, which had nothing in it but her ID, because he'd cleared that out as well. So she had no contact with anyone, she had no money, and she had no clothes or possessions other than what she was wearing. And she was really scared, and all she wanted to do was find some help. You know, she didn't know where she was going to go or who she could talk to. And so we asked if there was anyone that she could contact that might want to have her come and live with them. And she said maybe Mum, but she's all the way in Melbourne in the city. And so we let her call her mum, and her mum said, of course, if you can get here, of course you can stay with me. And so we knew that our first point of call was to get her to Melbourne. Being that it was the afternoon, we were a bit worried that there wasn't going to be a train left, so we rang, and yes, there was a train still in a couple of hours. So we managed to somehow over the phone organise a ticket that was going to get her all the way to Melbourne. Now, she had pretty much no experience of public transport, and we knew that she had to do the changeover at Geelong, so we had a bit of fear about whether, you know, this was going to work. She obviously didn't know what the time was. She didn't have a phone or a watch. So we really instructed her that you're just going to have to get to that train station and stay there until the train comes, basically. So we knew that she was going to be cold. We needed to get her some shoes and socks. We needed to get her a jacket so that she was warm, and a backpack to put things in. So we gave her some food. So we sent her out to the shop to find some clothes that might be good for her to wear. And we gave her some privacy. We were trying to keep these things as dignified as possible, and so we gave her some privacy. And then a little bit later, she still hadn't come back to the office, so I went out to check, and she was still slowly sorting through the racks. And I came up to her and said, how you going? And that was the moment that she just turned to me and she just broke. She, you know, started crying, and I gave her a hug and took her back into the office. And I just thought, this poor girl, you know, everything has been ripped out from underneath her. She's afraid and she's alone. And she has no security. A lot of the times these days our security comes from our phones and from the people we know and the places we know. And she had none of that. And so we just had a moment, let her breathe. We found all the things that she needed. We gave her some food. We gave her a Woolies voucher to hopefully, because she was starving, to hopefully get her some food. And then we said to her, just go straight to the train station. And so that's kind of where we leave it. You know, we'd got all the things that would get her to her mum in Melbourne, and then we had to let her go. And obviously she didn't have a phone, so we couldn't check up on her. We couldn't remind her what time the train went. We just had to hope and pray that she was going to get there. Now, being a mother figure, you know, I couldn't stop thinking about it. You know, that night I honestly didn't get that much sleep because I thought, I wonder if she made it. And so the next morning I couldn't help myself. I called her mum, and she answered, and I said who I was, and I said, did she get to you? Did she make it? And the mum started crying, and she said, yes, she made it. And she said, thank you so much, because I don't know what would have happened to my daughter if you hadn't stepped in and helped her. And these are the things that really happen in the town that we live. And we never know when these things are going to happen. that's the joy and the pain of being in this role, is that we get to help people, but we also don't know when those crises are going to happen. And if we didn't happen to be there at that time, I don't know what would have happened to this girl, and that breaks my heart. But the truth is, when we talk about the Red Shield Appeal, it's not just for us to get money, it's not just for us to glorify ourselves as an organisation, but the Red Shield Appeal is important for the Colac Salvos because that's where our money comes from. That's how we do our programs, that's how we help people in desperate crisis. And sometimes, unfortunately, we feel like we can't help people enough. There have been times where we've had to turn people away because we simply don't have the funding to help them. And this year it's different. We can't collect like we normally do. We can't be out in visual, helping people. We have to do it online, which means we need you to help us. At the moment, we're not even 10% of our goal, which is scary because if we don't get that funding, then we're not sure how well we're going to be effective in the town. And this is not to, pull at your strings to con you into donating to us. But it's just to say that we're not funded any other way, in this space but our shop, which is closed at the moment, and your donations. So I'm just going to ask, if you've donated before and maybe this year seems like it's a way to maybe not do so, please reconsider. Please donate to the Salvation Army Colac. We need your help. We want to help more than we have ever helped before, but we can't do that without you. Follow the link below. Donate to the Colac Salvos. Or if you're passionate about helping people in need in Colac, then maybe become a team member, recruit other people, and speak on our behalf to help Colac.